I think this is what our project folder was.
Should we be creating? Or no, never mind. Never mind.
I'm just using my previous workspace. I was just looking for that. So once it loads, yes. Once it loads, I will create a new project. Wow. So it'll be a dynamic web project. I'm calling my dynamic web project a class example for a project. Yep. You don't have what? Because you're in regular job.
I don't see the option either for the dynamic, and I'm in enterprise.
Neither do I. Actually, I have it.
I called mine sample for a project. Yeah. So if you do not have that, then this is how you can look for it. File, new, and then go to other. And in the other, if you scroll down under web, you will have the dynamic web project.
Thank you.
And then we weren't changing any of the settings within it. We were just adding a name and pressing finish.
Yeah, we are not changing anything, just giving it a name, and that's about it. Say it again. Yeah. Also, what you will do is you will go to you log into Blackboard from within the V2 cloud because we need to download some jar files. They will be needed to talk to the DB2 database. So when I go to my huh. 1 minute. Okay, refresh the units 9 and 10, and you should now see towards the bottom files to download. Click on files to download, and you will see two jar files, db2 java.jar and jt400.jar. So you click on each one of them one by one, and it will be downloaded. You go back and you click on the next one, and then that will be downloaded as well. When both of them are downloaded, I will show you how you will bring them into your Java project.
To be correct, this is in unit 9 and 10.
Yes, yes. Towards the bottom, there's a link in red color, files to download. You click on that, and then you individually click on each jar file. And it will go to your downloads folder. Everybody downloaded the two files. Everybody is in Eclipse, created the project. So give me a green check if it is yes to all of these. You good, Spur, right? Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, guys, awesome. Now you right click on the project and you click on the properties. Right click on the project, the one that we just created. Then you click on the Java build path. And you go to the libraries. Then you click on add external jars. And then you go to your downloads folder and you can select both of the jar files that you just downloaded, which one will be JT400 and the other one will be DB2 Java. No? No, okay. Okay. So you select both of them and then you click open. And you will see them in the list. You click apply and close. These two jar files are added to the project so that when I'm coding and I am referring to the packages in the JT400, it can see them. Okay. Now, the thing is this, when I'm running my website, the web server can't see my libraries. So I have to add both of the jar files on the web server as well. And then I'll show you next how to do that. So you expand to open your project. You open web content. Then you open web INF. Okay, everybody see web INF? Okay. The two jar files need to be dragged and dropped, not on the web INF, on the lib folder. Okay, so one of the ways to do that, one of the ways to do that would be I can do this to my Eclipse. I can open the downloads folder, right? And drag and drop, absolutely. The DB2 only, yeah, db2.jar and JT400, those two. Yeah, drag them and drop them on lib folder. And click OK on copy files, absolutely, okay. So please make sure, because this is a common mistake I hear from students, that they drop them on the web INF folder and they're like, my project doesn't run. Of course, it won't run because it is looking for them inside the LIB folder, not the web INF folder directly.
Can you move them from the web INF?
Yeah. You can drag them into the, yeah. But as long as they are not in LIB, you will get an error because that's where the web server is looking for. Okay. So far, so good, everybody. There was one more file that I want you to download. Refresh the browser only, and you will see this file called background.jpg. Right click and save image as. And you can store it somewhere on the desktop for now. Later on, we will need that file as well. So I'll tell you when we need that file. So it was the background image that we will use in the project.
Was it supposed to be .jpeg?
It is, yeah, it is .jpg, correct. Okay, ready to go? Now let's create our very first page. That will be an HTML page. We will call this one login.html. Mhm.
I have an error. After the created, it's missing.
Oh, good, yeah, okay, yeah. If you get that Node.js error, click OK. Yeah, it's just an Eclipse internal error.
So why didn't login open, or I'm sorry. I'm trying to find where you place login.html in the project structure.
If you right click on the project and hit new HTML, it will automatically place it in the right place. You don't have to, but it should be in the web content. So the best,
V2, hold on, I got kicked.
say it again.
I got dropped off of V2, hold on.
Oh, okay. So the best thing is you right click at the project level and you add something, it automatically knows where to place it.
All right, yeah, cool, we're good.
Okay. So the form will have two parameters. One is called method, is how the data will be sent to the server. And one is the action, which is the name of the server page to which the data will be sent. And we looked at it 2 weeks ago. So did we do session management 2 weeks ago or no?
No.
No, okay. So basically, What is a session management? Let me talk about that briefly so that you know what we're doing and why we're doing it. Typically, when you go out on the internet, any of the website that it asks you to log in, there are two reasons. Number one, it wants to make sure that you are the correct person who has authority or you're authorized to access the resource that you're accessing the resource. Number two is typically when you click on any of the link on any of the website, every link click is a fresh request. And the web server, even though it's the same web server, both pages are on the same web server, it doesn't remember you, who you are from the previous click. Every click is a brand new click and it treats it as if it's coming from a new user. So when you log in, you create a session on the server and you are given a unique session ID. So this is how the server knows that it is you because it checks your session ID. Okay, that's why when you are looking at your inbox or when you're looking at a Blackboard course shell, it remembers you from click to click. Because this is what it goes and check for behind the scene whenever you make a click. So we will be doing something very similar today. That we will create a session so that when you are going through your project example, insert, update, delete, select, all those will be different operations, but it will remember you, okay, through the session. So that's what this page will be, okay? So we will be providing the username and the password, and what we will do is, when we get to the database part, we will use the session screen to provide the same username and password that you have for your IBM machine, that ITPA username and the password. We will store that in the session, and we will use that to log into the IBM server as well, so that you can use DB2. Otherwise, you would have to first provide session username, password, then provide a different username and a password. I mean, it's going to be a waste of time. Okay. So this is the page that we will create, sessionpage.jsp. And also remember that JSP pages are case sensitive. So I uppercase the P here. That means when I create the session page, I have to uppercase the P, otherwise it won't be able to find it. Okay, so field set. Legend. Pixels. Having one in. 500 pixels. Margin. Even though it is an HTML page, I'm still running it on server. Because the whole site will run on server. That's how it looks like for now.
So Saad, I accidentally created a new workspace. It's asking me which server I want to run it on. Should I choose an existing server, or it's wanting me to use like Cloud Foundry to try and run it?
So when you go to run on server, it doesn't give you the local host option here.
Let me double check. Hold on. I did it a weird way. Let me do that way. No, it pops up with like manually define a new server right away instead of
Okay. So is this your first time on the V2 Cloud with Enterprise Eclipse?
no, I accidentally created a new workspace, so it's like it wants me to.
Okay. So if you go to Window Preferences and you go under your server and you go under Runtime Environment, do you have anything there?
I do not. No, so I will add that.
Yeah, you would have to add.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I've got that here. I've got the Apache. Oh, sorry,
Should
my
be
cat's meowing.
8.5, right?
So again?
Apache 8.5.
No, 8. Apache 8. So when you add, choose Apache 8. And then when you're browsing, make sure you go down to, after you open the folder Apache, you click the second folder Apache under it and select the folder, and that'll give you the path, and then you hit finish, and that'll give you that.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And then when you're running it, if you have the port error because the default port are already taken, so you would have to change the ports. Were you able to run it now, Jessica?
Yep, all good now. Thank you.
And Tony?
Giving it a shot right now.
Okay.
Starting Tomcat v8.0 server at localhost has encountered a problem. Several ports
Yeah,
required by
so
Tomcat already in use.
as I said earlier, that the ports that you are using are default ports, and somebody might already be using them. So change the port numbers.
How do I do that?
That I don't know. I'm just kidding. Come on, I got to play a little bit last
No,
year,
you're
right?
fine.
So
I'm sorry, but V2 ruins my mood every time I touch it, so.
so if you go to servers, there should be some tabs at the bottom, and one of the tabs should be called servers.
Yep.
And when you open the Apache Tomcat there, that's where you will see, but you will, instead of saying started, it will say stop for you, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you double click on that, and it will load a config file. Just give it a few seconds. It will load a config file for you right here. And you will see port numbers here. So currently you are maybe default to 8,000 something, right?
Yep.
For all three of them? Yeah. For example, I choose mine in a much larger range, like don't go too much because some people go 120,000. It's not gonna work. So go like maybe 11,000 range or 10,000 range.
You think 3,000 or should I go above 8,000?
No. I always say choose numbers higher than 4,000. The reason
fair.
is because the first 4,000 ports could be, there is a possibility, are already being used by some system resource. But don't go too high, like in 20,000.
No, I just did 11.3, 11.4, and 11.5.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, that's, and then once you are done making those changes, then simply hit the save button to save the config file, then close the tab and right click and run it again. And this time it should go through just fine. Yep. Well, yeah. Yep. Oh, you want me to go to the output? I thought you want me to show you my ports.
Yep, I'm all good.
Okay. Okay. Mhm. Next, what we will do is we will drag that background image that we downloaded right on the web content folder. So it will be at the same level as the login.html, okay? When we click OK on the copy files option. So let's add that to the field set. Background, URL, background.jpg. And when you refresh your output, you will see the background in the field set. Our next page is the session page.jsp. So we'll now right click.
All right, I didn't save. Hold on.
So again.
Never mind, it worked. I didn't save.
Oh, so yeah, we're going to just go project new, and then we will choose JSP file, right? And we will be creating session page dot JSP and hit finish. So I will declare a variable uname where I will be extracting the username the user will provide in the previous form. And another string called pass to extract the password provided by the user. Do you guys remember the Java server pages object to read the form? Which object is used by JSP to request the form? What's the name of that object? No, it's an object name that requests the form. I've already given you the answer, by the way. It's pretty much like if I say, Tony, what's your name?
Is it just request form?
Exactly, it's a request object. Request object is how you request a form. So request dot get parameter. Why parameter? Because all the form elements are passed as a parameter with the web URL. But since we am using post, you cannot see them in the URL. If I were to use get, you could see them in the URL. So what is the name of my parameter? The name of my parameter will be the same as the name of my form elements. One of my form elements name is username, and my other form element's name is password. So I will be reading the username over here, and I will be reading the password over here.
So
This
for
is
some
gonna-
reason, go for it.
Sorry. Can you just scroll up to line 1, Saad? I'm getting a weird error.
Me too.
Okay.
We have the same question.
If you save
Yeah,
the, yeah,
Oh, for some reason it's giving me a little error saying that javax.servlet.htp servlet was not found in the build path. So it's like giving me a little error up at the top.
On line 1 where the caret % at symbol is, that's where my error is.
let's complete this and then hopefully the error will be, not necessary.
Okay.
So if the value of uname is not equals to null and uname dot length is also not equals to 0 and pass is also not equals to null and pass dot length is also not equals to 0. Then we want to create the session.
Is your uname dot length supposed to be not equal to 0, just like the path dot length?
Oh, you're right. Not equals. Thank you. Then we want to create the session. So sessions are created with the help of the session object. And session object has a setter that you can call called set attribute. And my session variable, bless you, my session variable name is username. And the value that I'm putting inside is what is being held inside the object uname. And the session variable password will hold whatever is being held inside password. And in case if anybody did not provide the correct information according to the if condition, in the else, I want to redirect them. So that's response object, just the opposite of request. I want to redirect them to the login page. And if they provide me with the correct information, I will redirect them to my home page, which I've not yet created. We will not run it yet. I'm just waiting for everybody to tell me that they're done with this code and have saved the changes. And then I'll create the home.jsp. But let me explain this again. So once we receive the proper information that username and password boxes are not empty, and the objects are also not null, in that case, we will grab the values from the uname and the pass objects from line 11 and 12, and we are creating two session variables by the name of username and password, and we will push those values in them. Session variable will be on the web server under your session ID, so no other session can access it but your session. Every session will maintain its own values, just like every instance that's running in the memory maintains its own values. So this is the session instance dedicated to your connection. and will be there as long as either you don't log out or the session doesn't automatically times out. Okay? Now, let's create our next page, which will be home.jsp. One of the things that I want to make sure in the home.jsp is that it looks a bit like a landing page. Of course, in your project, you will put in a lot more information on your page, your home page than I'm putting here.
So Saad, I know, I know we talked about this already, but just creating the file, we automatically have that error.
Yeah, I have it again too.
Yeah, but let's first complete.
Well, I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, and then we will see if we can run it without having to worry about it. Inside the scriptlet, we will make an if condition. If and an else, right? Let's say if you're not logged into your email account and you just have the URL of your mailbox saved somewhere and you copy and paste that into the address bar, will you be able to access your inbox?
I'm sorry, you cut out really hard right there.
Oh, if you have your email account's URL and you're not logged into your email account, and you paste your URL in the address bar of the browser and hit enter, would you end up in your inbox or no?
No,
No, why not?
because of session management.
The session doesn't exist, right? And we will be building our page on the same logic. So this if condition is there to make sure that the session exists. And the else condition is there to redirect person back to the login page. And that's exactly what happens. So I can copy that one line response.redirect from the previous page in the else. And in the if condition, I can now start looking at to make sure that my session variables are not empty. Okay. And what are the names of my session variables from the previous page? Username and password. How did I give them the value? By using a setter. To get the value out of them, I'll use a getter. So I'll type session dot get attribute username and make sure that it is not null. And get the value and also make sure that the session variable password it also is also not equals to null. If that is the case, then notify the user, welcome to gateway homepage. In fact, let me change it this way so that it will serve your need a little bit better when you're building your final project. That you can close the
I can't
scriptlet.
stop getting kicked off of V2.
You're getting kicked out of V2.
Like literally every minute.
Is Tony the only one or is everybody? Because I'm not experiencing that.
I'm doing okay, but that does suck. I've had that happen before.
Have you tried refreshing this page and then click connect again?
Yeah, I closed it all last time it happened.
Okay.
So why do you have the starting caret backward for that JSP insertion?
Which line are you referring to, Tony?
20 or 19.
19. Okay. So basically, I'm closing the scriptlet that I started here so that I can write something in plain HTML, plain text, because I don't need JSP for that. And then I'm starting it again because I'm going back in JSP.
Gotcha.
Okay, so this the reason I made that last minute change was because this is something that is more applicable to your project, because when you create your home page, you will have all of that homepage content right here
Okay.
after you authenticate to make sure that you have a username and a password session already created. And I'm just putting one liner here, but you will put a little bit more to define the purpose of your homepage. Okay. Now, once we have done this, all these steps, now let's go to running this. So I am on the login page. Right now, it doesn't really matter what I put in for a username and password because I'm not connected to the IBM server yet. But when we do that, then we'll provide the IBM username and password. And now all I'm doing is I want to make sure that when I hit login, I end up on the home page. And I do. If I don't, then we can look at it as to where things are going wrong. Do you got it? No, you don't. Okay.
No, I don't. Jessica, did you get yours to work? Because not mine works. With
Yeah,
that error.
Yeah, mine's working.
That's really odd, but good.
Yeah, I feel like we've come across that before in like the V2 with working in enterprise where we've had weird errors, but it still works. So that's good.
Everybody got it, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you probably did not even see in the web browser the session page loading because it did load behind the scene and it redirected you. That's why you did not even see it happening. And that's exactly how most of these login processes are, that when you log in, there is a page in the middle that authenticates you, that creates session for you, and then redirects you to your landing page. So the page that you land on is not the page that authenticates you. Because the page that you finally land on is the page that makes sure that your session is in place. And that cannot be the same page where your session is established. Okay? So now let's build our site navigation. And I think we learned about this, right? That you can build site navigation once and you can share it in all your pages, right? Okay, so now let's create a new HTML page. We're going to call this one nav, N-A-V, nav.html. I'll just delete everything in it except for the nav. Hmm? Mhm. Oh, pad in. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. And I will be creating these pages. I'm just right now just building the navigation. Updates. And these are the operations that you will have in your project as well. So we have insert, delete, update, select, and logout. And you will have also something similar in your project, that you will have an insert page, an update page, a delete page, and a select page.
And this is kind of more of just a question because I don't know for sure, but would we be, is it necessary that we have to create each one of these as their own like HTML page as well, or is this just for the functionality? That makes
What do you-
sense. So we're creating a home page, an insert page, a delete page, an update
Mhm.
page. Is there a possibility that we could create all of these things on, say, one manipulation page?
So how will you do one page for insert and the same page for select and the same page for,
That's kind of what I'm asking. Is that a
yeah, I
possibility?
mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, but frankly speaking, you would never do that. I mean, like, can you think of a scenario? I can't.
Well, I'm confused as to like why we need to have separate
Oh, okay. See, for
HTML pages.
example, if what is your project?
Uh, uh, my actual project, like my personal final
No,
project,
yeah, your final
it's
project.
gonna be a card deck creator, so
Right,
it'll help you create stuff like a
right.
deck
So
of
if you want
cards.
to insert something, that will be through the insert page.
Okay,
If you want to modify something, that'll be through the update page. If you want to remove something, that'll be through the delete page. If you want to view something, that should be through the select page. So they're totally different operations.
I think I'll, yeah, okay, I think I'll have my answer, my question answered as we keep going, because I don't know how to ask it correctly.
No, I mean, let me explain it to you again. Not sure about the details of your example. For example, if I am making a website for cars, my insert page would allow me to insert a new car into the database. My update page will allow me to update an existing car in the database. My delete page will let me delete an existing car from the database. My select page will help me see the entire car inventory.
Okay,
So there are different database operations. So we will be creating a separate page for each database operation.
I got you. And see where I was
And there
confused
is,
is, sorry,
yeah, there's no way to mix them all up. It'll
I
be a
got you.
mess. This is what I'm saying. I can't really envision having the same page for all the operations.
And the reason I'd gotten confused is because in our .NET Enterprises class, we use the C# form and we add buttons and then add the functionality to the individual buttons. And we add like the select, insert, update, and delete buttons all onto the same form.
Yeah, but
And
then how are you viewing your data on the same form? Probably towards the bottom of the form.
with a list box,
No, I mean, if you want to see your entire grid, how do you see your grid?
you would just like show the database within the list box.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, that is probably something very, very particular to .NET.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah. It's because every environment has its own framework and infrastructure, right? So those are .NET controls. We
I kind of
can't Java
sorry.
effects. We can't use Java effects controls in JSP. That's strictly for desktop environment.
I kind of like that it makes you split them up just because then it helps me kind of keep it straight, like all the functionality and things. Like if I want to know where I put my insert stuff, I like that it has to be on a separate page,
You're
Yeah, I
right.
mean, like that's how most of the websites are modeled. If you would have noticed that you would have a separate page where you would go and register a member, you would have a separate page where you would update a member's profile, and you would have a separate page where you will view the items. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah,
your
for sure. It makes a lot of sense when you think about it in the like
your web
browser.
experience aligns more with what we're doing. Anyway, once you build this navigation, let's save the changes and let's go back to the home.jsp and we will add this navigation to our homepage. Oh, called it nav, not site nav. And then if you refresh your home page, you will now see the navigation at the top. It doesn't work because we do not have the links working, but you have your navigation. So the first page out of this navigation that I want to work with is your logout page, so that at least we complete the entire session management. And then we will get to our database part. So we will create our next page as a JSP file, which we will call logout.jsp. Typically, when you hit the logout buttons, what happens?
The session ends.
Yeah, and after it ends the session, what does it do? It redirects you to a page, which is back to, it cycles you back to the login page, right? Why does it do that? Why doesn't it just make you sit on the logout page? No, the reason is the logout page still has the valid session information in its memory. Until and unless you leave the logout page and go to a different page, the web server doesn't flushes it out. Even though the logout page send a red signal that disconnect. But if you are sitting on that page, the memory still holds the session information. So that's why you have to leave that page for it to be completely cleared. That's why logout page always have two instructions. Only two instructions, that's it. Instruction number one, session dot invalidate, kill the session. Second is response dot send redirect to login page. That's it. That's all logout is. Kill the session, redirect. So now, if you go back to the home page and hit the logout link, notice that you're back to the login page. And follow through the whole process again. If you're on the login page, enter some username and password and hit login and hit logout. That's all login logout is. Okay. Everybody experience all the whole process?
Yep.
Okay. So one piece of your project would be this. Before we get to the next piece, I want to show you a test example, and we will try to kill two birds with the same stone. That in that test example, we will not only just connect to the database, but we will also create our table in the database. And that table is the one that we will use in insert, update, delete, select operations. You do not have to create your database for your project the same way. You could just directly go behind the scene and type the SQL and create it as well in the DB2 if you still remember how to do that, or you could do it this approach, whatever works for you. So The next example will be a JSP file. It will not be linked to this project navigation. We will call this one create.jsp. Create.jsp. The create.jsp will require some imports. One of the imports will be the Java SQL package. And another import will be com.ibm .as400 .access. This is one of those jar files that we brought. So that's the package from the jar file. So one is the Java's built-in package, and another one is the added jar file package. AS400 JDBC driver. This is the class that is coming from line number 4. It's not a Java built-in class. And a lot of this code that you will see today over here, you have already seen it before. Remember when we did the JDBC with Microsoft Access a month ago? It's exactly the same code. It's just like we are now doing this one with DB2. Okay. So we need a connection object. We need a statement object. I'm purposely waiting here because I need to complete the URL piece. And I'll do that once everybody is caught up with this code. If you remember in the Microsoft Access days, that we established the JDBC Access Bridge. So JDBC is the Java side, and the you can access was the database driver. Here, the bridge will be JDBC AS400. That's the name of the bridge. Okay, so JDBC AS400. But AS400 is not the name of the server. AS400 also need to know the name of the server. What is the name of our IBM server?
Death Star.
Dot GTC.
HEC.edu.
Yep. Okay. Now, there is one more thing that you would have to do here, because when you type deathstar.gtc.edu, you can directly access it right away. You need to enter what? A username and a password. Now, in our actual project, we are accepting the username and the password from the session, and we will use that, but not in this example. So when you do not have an alternate way of entering a username and a password, then you put in an additional parameter called prompt, and you set it to true. So what does that do? As soon as you are trying to get connected to the server, IBM server, it gives you a little dialog box. You enter your username and password in that dialog box, and then it uses that information to connect you to the server. And then you can resume with the rest of your code.
So for our projects, then, if we're not doing the little prompt like this, would we use like the same like username and password like we did from the past example?
So yeah, so for example, when we get to the example that I'm building on the site, I will show you how you will do it in your project.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because as I said, in that project example that we're doing, we will be accepting your IBM username and password through the session variable. So we don't have to do the prompt then. Do you follow that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, so you will be entering ITPA, whatever your username and password right here. So your session username and password will be your actual IBM username and password. So that way we wouldn't have to do it through the way we are doing it here. Okay, now comes the next thing. I'm trying to create a table, but what if the table already exists? It'll give me an error, right? So to overcome that problem, I'll have a try catch block here. Another try catch block within the try catch block. In the try block, my SQL statement will be select everything from the table called course project 22B. And you are like, well, the project doesn't exist. The table doesn't exist, right? And that's exactly what we are checking. Result set, RSD equals to statement dot execute query, run this SQL. If line number 26 runs successfully and doesn't complain, that means the table already exists. If the table does not already exist, then line number 26 will yell and will drop to line number 30, and that's where I can write my create command, SQL. So in case the table does not already exists, then I will drop to line 30. And on line number 30, I'm writing my SQL statement where I'm creating a table called course project 22B. And these are the 4 fields I need: course ID, course name, credits, and description.
Can you just wait a second? My V2 died.
Oh, okay. I'm just explaining. That's all
No,
I'm doing.
no, that's fine. I just didn't want you to keep typing. I'm sorry.
So please make sure that your field names are correct. Otherwise, when we do our inserts, updates, deletes, selects, things may not work for you, and then you would have to still go and fix those field names in your code. So why not give them proper name now? Okay. Now, statement object runs execute query command if it is running a select command. However, it runs execute update command for all other SQLs. Like this is the create command. So for create, insert, update, delete, for all 4 of the operations, you will call execute update. Only the select command we use, execute query. And now we will say that the table created successfully. Okay. Tony, you caught up? Are you still having the?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Now, once you are done with this example, let's right click on create.jsp and run on server. When we run this on server, right now you see this hourglass symbol like this, right? I mean, like it's loading. It's not really loading. If you unmaximize your screen, you will see this login prompt. This is basically what I was talking about when we set prompt equals to true. This is where you enter your IBM username and password. And you click OK. And then it goes with the rest of the code. And it says, well, you know what? Table created successfully. If you click the refresh button again, this time the table already exists. So it should tell you table already exists.
I got an error. Can you go back to the create page?
I got the same thing. Mine is exactly the same.
Yeah, so is mine. I'm not sure why.
I can have a look at it. Who wants to share theirs?
I can share mine.
Sure, go ahead.
Sorry, I was on mute. Can you see this okay?
It's still loading. Okay. Oh, you misspelled. Can you go back to your create.jsp page?
Did I miss it somewhere?
Uh,
Oh, right here. I see it.
Yeah, on,
Okay.
yeah, that's it. Save the
Okay.
change and refresh.
I got something different, but
Okay.
There you go.
Here, I'll stop sharing.
Okay, so you can stop sharing, and Tony, now you can start sharing.
Thank you, Saad.
No problem, no problem. Yeah, that's what I was telling our associate dean who's here, that the classroom experience is quite similar. You are in class or in Zoom.
it says the right thing, but it
Okay.
doesn't say
Course
what we
project
told it to
will
say.
be final, or okay, it's somehow okay. Can you go back to your create? Actually,
It's weird, because it says the right thing, but maybe it drops down to this.
can you go back to your output page, please, again? And hit refresh. Okay. Course project. Okay. Now go back to create.jsp. Okay,
So
now
it
let me,
goes down to here.
so yeah, yeah, that's what I want to look at. So it is going to the catch. But it's not telling you the table.
It told me the table was created successfully. When I tried to do the second one, it
Well,
didn't
when
work.
you refreshed it the second time, that's when it did that.
Yeah,
But the problem is, oh, here's the problem. On line number 30, you wrote course project 2022. It's course project 22.
oh,
That's why.
whoops.
So yeah, that's it. Save the changes. And now refresh. Here you
Woo-hoo.
go. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys, let's take a break till 10 o'clock. And when we come back at 10, we will then be looking at insert, update, select, and delete operations on our website. So we will be using some of the code from create.jsp. So don't close create.jsp. And we will then be working with adding some additional files to our project. And the navigation is already built, so we wouldn't have to do anything else to the navigation, just simply go through the navigation. So I'll see you guys at 10. Pause the recording. Okay, guys. So, as I told you before we went on break, that we'll be building and completing our navigation that starts out with insert, then update, then delete. and I'll do insert, select, update, and delete. Update, or I'll do maybe update in the end because that's the most complicated of all of them. Anyway, so to get started, let's create our very first page. Yeah. Oh, I'm not sharing? I thought she was sharing. Okay, let me stop sharing and start sharing again. Is it sharing now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, can everybody on Zoom also see the shared screen? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. You know what? Instead of having to create the insert from the scratch, let me go to the home.jsp and save that as. So go to home.jsp and click File menu, Save As, and save it as insert.jsp. Okay. The reason I did that because first of all, it will automatically include the navigation, the header, and majority of my changes will be made right here after I check to see that it's a valid session. So the structure is there. So I'll just replace that welcome to gateway stuff from line 21 with a form that will help me insert data. Method post action form. How many fields do I have in my table? How many?
I think you
Four.
have
Four, right? So I will have 4 input boxes, 1 for each field. So I need 1 for course ID, 1 for course name, 1 for credits, and 1 for description. Then I'll make changes accordingly. So please, don't, when you're copy pasting, make sure that you are making the changes. So as far as the CSS is concerned, we have one CSS for the heading that we have because we got this from the home page. The other CSS we can copy from the login.html. If you go to login.html, right at the top, you have field set, legend, and label. Copy those three properties from login.html, and you can paste it right at the top under the style tag of insert. And again, for your project, you guys can use external CSS also. You don't have to use embedded or inline. Okay. Now we will do a quick test. On the login page, we'll just do a login and then we'll hit the insert. I know insert doesn't do much, but I want to see that I can at least see the form. The form is non-operational right now. Do you guys remember post back? What is post back? Post back is when a form submits back to itself. The same page is the submission page where the form is located. So we will create a post back action insert.jsp. So it will submit the form back to itself. So make sure you update the action to state insert.jsp. Now starts the actual code, line number 43. This is where we will first of all grab all the parameters. As we learn in the create session page or session page.jsp, that you use request.get parameter to get the form element. We'll use the same logic here. So I will have different variables for each one of the text field. Request.get parameter. And I will use the names that I used here. So CID, CNAME, credits, and description. Those are the names I will be using. 2, 3, 4. The names of the objects don't have to match the name of the form elements, but I'm doing it for the sake of not having to declare too many names. So when the page will run the first time, all four of these objects will be empty, right? Because the form elements are empty. So we want to write an if condition that will make sure that the data only gets inserted if these are filled. That means after hitting the button, after the post back only, that this area should run. So this is where I can say, okay, CID is not equals to null. And CNAME is also not equals to null. And credits is also not equals to null. And description is also not equals to null. So all of them are connected with ands. Done? Now we need to do some copy pasting, guys, from the create.jsp page. So is everybody caught up this far, Zoom?
Yep.
Okay. Now let's go to create.jsp and let's start copying, starting from this line. Okay, so let's grab this whole entire code snippet from AS400 all the way through the closing catch. Then I will clean up the code once we bring it over. So I'm just copying this whole thing, coming to insert, and inside this if condition, I'm pasting it. Okay, this whole thing. Now, in our particular case, like in insert, we do not need nested tries and stuff like that. So I can get rid of this. I will change my SQL statement. So instead of create table, it will be insert into course project 22B values. You start your opening parentheses and you'll have your closing parentheses. And all the character values will be enclosed in single quotes. And all the non-character values will be without single quotes. So that's what we will be building in between. So let me delete this for now. Okay. Is the first value a character value? Course ID. If you look at your create table command, right? It's a character value. Second one is also a character value. Third one is a number and fourth one is a character. Okay. So the first one is a character. So I put a single quotes and the value is coming from where? Variable CID. Single quotes closed, comma. Next value is also character, so single quotes, concatenate variable, single quotes, comma. Third value is a number. So no single quotes, just the comma. Fourth value is in single quotes. And close the parentheses that you open on line 60. So CID is in single quotes, CNAME is in single quotes, credits is not in any quotes, and description is in quotes. We need to make a few more changes, so. That's why those red lines are there. I'll get to those changes as soon as you guys are done with this code.
I must have messed something up somewhere because I have really weird errors.
Other than the red lines I have,
Oh, I
those
just
are,
deleted
yeah.
the closing try block.
Oh, yeah, okay. You're getting a number of errors? Okay, did you save the changes? Okay, cool. So these red lines you're getting because if you go to create.jsp right at the top, we don't have the imports yet in the insert. So copy the two import lines from create.jsp from the top and put them right at the top, right above the doc type in insert.jsp. And the moment you do that, save the changes and scroll down, and those errors will disappear.
Where did you go to get those imports?
From
Thank
create.jsp.
you.
Yeah.
And then I might need your help looking for this error because I can't seem to.
Yeah, that's fine. I will, let me first complete this and then I can have a look at your error, okay? So you will paste those two lines at the top of your current file. Okay. Now, the other thing is, remember I told you that in the create, we were bringing in the prompt for you to enter your IBM username and password, right? So in this example, we will be putting in that inside your session management. So we will set the prompt to false, first of all. Online, and notice all these changes are in insert.jsp. Set the prompt to false. Now comes the question, okay, the prompt is false, but I still need the username and the password, and that will be coming from where? From the session. Okay, so in order to make that happen, I will create a couple of local variable, user equal to session dot get attribute username and session dot get attribute password to grab the username and the password from the session. And on line number 61, add that after the URL. So if the prompt is false and the username and password are required, then this is how you will do it. If the prompt is true and username and password are required, then you can drop it from there. Okay, now let me do a quick run here just to make sure. So first of all, in the home page, I will log out completely. Then on the username, in the username area, I will enter my IBM username. And in the password, I'll enter my IBM password and hit login. I go to insert, and let me try to insert a book. Maybe, sorry, course. I mean, course 1, course name Java, credits 3, Java 101, and insert course information. So if I get a message down below, which reads, one record inserted successfully, that means I did a fine job, right? Otherwise, I made a mistake. Okay, so if I'm getting this, I'm good. Okay, now let's have a look at Tony's. Tony, you're ready to share?
Yeah, I think I just got the deleting of stuff in the wrong order or something because
Yeah, okay. Okay, let me have a look at your code and then get rid of that curly. Oh, okay, hold on a second. Oh yeah, get rid of line number 69 and 70. Also delete line 70. Yes, and delete line 76. No. 76. Yeah. Yep. That's it. Save the changes. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
And then I just go to my home
And you
page.
go to log out first. Okay. Enter your IBM username. No,
Oh,
IBM
okay.
username. And IBM password. Okay, now go to insert. Oops. Okay, hold on a second. Let me read the error. Line number 47. Okay, go to line 47. Okay, all those items that you wrote inside get parameters, all of those have to be in double quotes. Inside the get parameter, the
These?
CID has to be in double quotes. C name on the next line.
Jesus, criminy boys.
Okay, now save the changes and refresh. Okay, cool. Now enter 1 or whatever, just yeah, some ID and then enter a course name, course credits, course description, and then hit insert. Cool, awesome, you got it. Okay. While we are here on this page, let's try to insert maybe like a few more courses so that we can build something for our next page, which will be select, right? So
It only allows me to type 4 letters.
yeah,
Any
I
restrictions?
limit that to size 4 because the table first field is 4 characters long.
Ah.
So in my form, let me show you. In my insert form, I set the max length to 4.
When I click insert, it says course project is not found.
What does it say?
It just says course project 22B, file not found.
Okay. Can you share your screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you take me to your can you take me to the last tab, second last tab that is open?
This one?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Now,
this is still loading.
yeah. Can you minimize your screen? Minimize your browser. No. Minimize only the V2. Yeah, minimize that window too.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. See, I
Oh,
think you never created your table. So
okay.
enter your IBM username and password. Okay, and then and then close that one. See, now your table got created. That was the whole point of that.
Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Okay, there we go. Nice.
Yeah, so now what you need to do is go back to your insert.jsp page, please. Okay, and on line number 68, it should say 1 record inserted successfully.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that we have the correct message. Okay, save changes. Now insert another one. Oh, you entered the same key again for the course
Oh,
ID.
okay.
Yeah.
There we
Okay,
go.
insert two more so that you have them, and then also make, yeah, first insert two more, and then I will have you close that dialog box that's running in the background. Okay,
Okay.
after that, minimize your window and then hit cancel on this one. Okay, cool. Now go back. So so do you know the reason why the dialog box was there from your create table command? Because we had prompt equals to true, and we were providing the username and the password that is required to log into the IBM machine right from that page, because we were not coming in through the session. But
Oh,
for the
okay.
project, we are providing it in the session. So that's why we made the prompt set to false. And we are grabbing the IBM username and password, as you can see on lines 59 and 60 from the session variables. And
Yeah,
then
that
we're
makes sense.
using them on the next line with the URL.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Oh. You never put the recent value on. So you can grab the login page. Okay, everybody got this, right? So when you are doing your project, you can model your insert after my insert. Because if you notice, majority of the logic that we used over here will stay the same. What will change? Your form will change, your variable names will change, and your insert query will change. But the gist of it will be there. The template of insert will be there. Okay,
So,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I believe you said we were gonna talk about this later, but I'm not sure. If we're not gonna be logging into IBM, are we creating the database on like Access?
No, you have to. It's a requirement of the project to have the database done in IBM.
Okay, very cool. Then that works perfect. So we're just gonna do basically what we did here today.
Right, that's why I will make you guys demonstrate your project to me next week, because I can't access your database information otherwise. Means I don't have your IBM username and password, so I can't really run it on my end. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So next week I will ask, that's what you have to do, is you have to have your project completed before class. Next class, each one of you will demo your project to me. And based on what I see in the demonstration, I will be awarding you points.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep, it's exactly. Now, let's save the insert.jsp as, so click File, Save As, and we will save it as select.jsp. Select.jsp. So we will save the insert.jsp as select.jsp. In the select.jsp, I do not need the field set, the legend and label, none of that stuff. So I can delete that CSS from the top. because it'll be just displaying the data in a tabular fashion. So I don't need this form either. So I do not need the form. So I'll delete that also. And I do not need the form, so I do not need the closing scriptlet and having to reopen it again. I don't need that either. So I'll delete that also. I do not need any of these variables. Why? Because I don't have form. The whole reason of them was being there was the form. So delete that. And of course, delete the if condition. But you have to be careful to also go down and delete the closing of the if condition also, right? Which would be, so make sure you are cleaning that up like that. Our SQL statement is slightly different. Our SQL statement is select, right? So our
Can you
SQL
scroll up
statement.
just a little bit real quick?
Say it again.
Scroll up just a little bit real quick. wanna
I
make
can't
sure.
hear you.
Can you scroll up just a little bit?
Oh, sure.
All right, yeah, I'm perfect.
Select star from course project 22. So we are selecting all the data from course project 22. And when you are selecting data, you are putting the data in a results set object, and you do execute query, not execute update. Now, once I start my result set, I need to now display the result set in a tabular fashion. So now I will be using combinations of JSP and HTML. That's why I will be closing my scriptlet and starting it again for the remaining piece. And in between, I will do my display logic. So that creates the top part of my select operation. Now I need to build the result set, where I traverse through the result set, picking one item at a time or one record at a time. And that is done with the help of a while loop. While result set dot next means as long as result set has data to display, keep looping. What should you do every time you loop? Create one table row. And in that table row, display 4 cells, one for each field. So when I use in SQL an asterisk, like line 35, that means all the fields. There are a total of 4 fields that will be returned, and they will be numbered field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4 inside the result set. So inside the result set, I will call result set dot get string, oops, and give me the field number 1. And you will model the same stuff all the way through. Every line will be modeled the same way. All you will do is change the number to 2, 3, 4. That's it. You're closing your table, and you will close your result set.
That closing table tag, where does that one start?
The table started here, right?
Oh, you just never closed it, I see.
Yes, and that's where I closed it.
Cool.
Okay. Now, to test it, I'm back on my home page, and all I need to do is click the select link. Here you go. So you will model yours on a similar pattern. You will be displaying the data from your database, from your table. Everybody got the select done?
Did it display any information for you?
It did. It did. It displayed
Oh, it did not.
all the
for me.
data that I've entered.
It only displayed the headings.
Okay, so do you have the data in your table? Did you ran your inserts before?
If you log out and log back in, do you have to
No.
recreate it? No, I
Answer,
definitely added stuff into it.
you did add stuff into it. So why don't you check your select command to make sure that you have it correctly? And did you make sure you changed this to execute query and it's not execute update still?
Yeah, it's execute query.
Okay, and your table name is correct?
Yeah. Where's it? I'm going line for line.
Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't close the TDs. I'll be good.
Okay. I mean, like little errors here and there could throw off the web server. There are things browsers would care less about, but the web servers would care about it.
Yep, it works now. Perfect.
Okay, cool. Okay, now let's go back to insert. So double click to open insert.jsp again. And we will save insert.jsp as delete.jsp. Okay. Now, in the delete page, this is what I want to do. Instead of asking user to enter a course ID to delete, there's a likelihood that the user doesn't even know there's so many courses out there. So rather what I want to do is I want to give the user a drop-down box, which is pre-populated with all the course IDs from the database. So that's why in this particular page, I will need two queries. The first one will be a select query, which will populate the drop-down box. And then upon populating the drop-down box, when the user click OK, I want to delete this guy, then run the delete query. So it'll be a two-step queries here. So in my form where it says post back to insert.jsp, I will post back to delete.jsp. Right? I will get rid of all of these guys. I'll just leave that label course ID there. That's it. And I will now start a select because I need a drop-down box. And the name of this select will be CID because it's course ID. And instead of saying insert course, delete course. Changing the text on the button to say delete course. And the blank line where I'm currently sitting is where I will write my JSP code, which will create in a loop. It will upload all the IDs in the drop-down box. Okay, so I'll have my scriptlets here. Now I will copy paste some of the code from select.jsp. So go to select.jsp. And copy all these lines that I've selected.
Where are you going down to?
I'm in select.jsp.
No, yeah, I know. Going down to what line?
Oh, I will take you to where I want these to be pasted. So, but did you?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were going down further than.
No. Just go all the way to line 36. Copy that. And come back to the delete.jsp and paste it here. Instead of saying select all, we only need the CID field. We only need one field. Oh, sorry, this it's called course ID, not CID. It's the course ID field. Select course ID from. Okay. After that, I'll run my loop as long as result set has data. Grab the data out of the result set into a local object called CID. Okay, if you guys remember your selects. So in select, each of the drop-down item is in an option, right? An option has a text that displays to the user. An option has a text that is sent to the server. You guys see that? Both of the items here. The text that's displayed to the user and a text that's sent to the server. In our case, we want the ID to be displayed here for user to see, and the same ID to be also sent back to the server under value. Because server will use that ID to delete that record. Okay, so since we need the ID twice, that's why I stored it in an object. And I'll just use that object twice. Out dot println option value equals to single quotes CID close single quotes, and that's a close tag, right? Concatenate that with the actual CID, which gets to be displayed, and the closing option tag. So this CID is sent to the server in single quotes, and this CID is the one that is displayed to the user on the farm. Okay, so far so good, everybody? Okay, even though the page is not complete yet, but we have the form piece done, which will create a drop-down where the user can make a selection. Now let's scroll down and let's start deleting what we don't need. Because the form is only submitting a course ID, so I don't need the other information. I do not need the other information. Comment is. Okay. So slowly and gradually come down to this line where I have my insert. This insert should now be changed to a delete.
So I'm sorry, I didn't see where you were deleting. You deleted the string CID request get parameters, correct?
Yeah, let me scroll back up so that you can see what I deleted.
Except for CID, okay.
So I only left the request parameter CID because that's the only item I have, versus insert had 4 items. And similarly, I updated my if condition. Got it?
Yep.
Okay. So now down below my SQL statement where I had insert, I'll now change that to delete from course project 22B. Now, the rest of the syntax I have to change because if I just delete from course project 22B, all the records will be deleted. I don't want to do that. I only want to delete where the course ID equals to the CID, you know, in single quotes. So where course ID equals to the CID. Still execute update, but this time one record deleted successfully. Now, the only reason I'm displaying line number 80 for testing purpose so that you can see that one record is gone, right? But in this case, I will not want to do that. Rather, what I will do is I will just simply refresh the page so that you can see that the item is gone. Can you guys stay a little bit longer than 11:10 today?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna, I have a little problem and I'm just trying to,
Because we still have update to do. Yeah, Tony, go ahead.
um, I, I'm just having a really hard time with the closing, just the orientation of the JSP snippets, the tags. I think I have a,
You know, I
problem.
also have an extra curly brace that I need to delete at the bottom.
It's on, what are the JSP tags called?
The scriptlets.
Yeah, scriptlets. Okay, so you have one up there as well, so that's all right.
Yeah.
Well,
So this one you're talking about, right? Yeah.
yes, on 66 or around there.
Yeah. So
Cool.
this one is starting because everything above that is HTML.
That's what I thought. Okay,
Right,
and that's the way
okay.
mine works as well.
So we put HTML mostly in outside of the scriptlets. So every time I'm going in complete HTML, so I close my scriptlet, I did some HTML, and then I open my scriptlet again. And then I'm doing my scriptlets, okay?
Okay, cool. Will you go down to the response dot send direct? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Why was there error on that?
I need to check.
So I have to think,
Yeah, it's probably complaining something about curly braces. So one of my curly braces, I may have more than I need. So I still need to check.
but I don't have it. Yours that is.
I deleted the curly on 85 and it worked.
Yeah, because I have one extra curly brace. And
Then you still
uh,
have that one up there, but that's just
let
weird.
me run it. If it runs fine, that means it is Eclipse problem. So let me go and click on delete. And I do have an issue. Okay. So syntax error, curly brace on line number 81. Okay, let me go to line number 81. So I have a curly brace for try,
I think it's
a
the
curly
try
brace
on
for
40.
catch, that's a curly brace for if. That's a curly brace for while.
That try block up there.
Oh, this try, I never closed. That's a problem. Okay. So I wrote a while loop right here at the top. And I have a select. I should have done something like this. So go back up to the while loop where I am creating my ID. So I was supposed to close my try over there, the try that is starting here. And I need to have a catch after that. Yeah, that's basically was throwing it off.
No, I'm getting kicked.
Hold on a second. Okay. 66.
I'm getting duplicate local variables because we
Yeah.
copied that twice.
Yeah, I'm having the same error, but I am wondering why is it doing it? Because the other CID is local to the loop, and the loop ends, so that it should just go out of context. So when I say CID over here,
See, mine is for the AS400 JDBC driver, and the 3 of those are duplicates because we copy and pasted them twice, it looks like. One in the line around 35 and then further down. I don't know if that's it. See on line 66.
oh, these, right? Do we have them up there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are duplicates. Yep, you're right. Those are duplicates. Okay, now it is
So
complete.
whenever I click the delete button, it just sends me back to session login.
Because your session timed out. Now it's complaining about something else. Let's see. Missing curly braces. Okay. So I have an if and a try. I'm starting my if, starting my try, closing my try, closing my catch, closing my if, closing my else. Until I'm missing something from top. Oh, I have another if up here at the top. That is. Okay. You know that curly brace that we deleted before? We should not have deleted that one. That was for this was the closing for that very top if condition.
Do you put that before or after the snippet?
The curly brace between the two
Oh.
other curly braces right above the else.
Mine looks way different. So exception. No, I didn't ever put in that else, I guess. Alright, 1 second. Can you leave that up there for a second?
This is the whole block also there. I'll share that. But the new ones, I think Tony is still copying this down. So, Sparrow, you are missing that whole catch there. So that's what's complaining about. Yeah, we did not. I did not push the catch and the closing try. So in my delete course logic, it populates it with the IDs, course IDs. If I choose one of the course ID, let me test this. Let me click delete course. And it comes back and notice that course is gone. That's what basically it is supposed to do.
But for some reason, mine just keeps going right to the logout page after I.
So it's keep redirecting you to the login page every time you
Yeah.
click the delete button.
Yeah.
Login page.
Yeah, so can I log in?
Uh-huh.
And if I click select, I go to select. So if I click delete, it just straight takes me back to the login.
Okay, so I may have to check. Tony, can you share yours? You're having the same issue, right? That you're constantly going to the login page?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So can you demonstrate that to me, please, once? Okay. Okay, now can you go to your delete.jsp page and let's start looking at it right from the top.
My thing got all messed up when I pressed Control Shift F. So,
Yeah, scroll all the way to the top.
oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, now scroll down. Yep, stop here. Right over. Can you go back to your project run page, login page? Enter your username and password. And click select. Okay. Don't click delete. Hit insert. Hit home. Okay, now go to insert and insert another course. Click insert. That works. Now hit delete. Okay, it's logged out. Okay. Okay, go back to the delete.jsp. So line number 54 is fine. Line number 56. Okay, keep coming down. Okay, we're getting attribute. All of that stuff is copied over. Select course ID, statement, result set, option.
This right here in the else statement returns me to login.
Hold on, don't jump. Okay, let me go through the process. Okay. Okay, you are missing some code here. In your delete operation. Yeah, oh, hold on a second. Oh, do you see that else response that send redirect?
Yeah,
Yeah, that you don't need. You do not need lines 89 through 91. I think you copied, yeah, that too. Yeah, you delete that. You delete the curly brace, okay? Now let me make sure your curly braces are balanced. Um, line 88, curly brace needs to go away. Yeah, delete that. Okay, so that's why you were getting redirected because of that. And
gotcha.
yeah, so that is good. Your catch is closing, your select is closing. You have a submit button, and then you have a field set and a form. Okay, now scroll down. Okay, hover over that error message. Probably is complaining about curly braces. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now let me start looking here. Okay, CID is there. Okay, delete lines 99 through 101. Because we already declared that those up top, that's a duplicate. Okay, keep coming down. Driver is there. Okay, everything is there. Keep coming down.
I can't.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so you are closing your if condition on line 120. Oh, okay, you need another curly brace on line 119. Because the line 120 curly brace is for the if condition that you wrote at the top of the page, where you were checking
Gotcha.
for session, right? Now save the changes, go back to your output and log in again. And click on delete. And go ahead, choose one of the IDs and delete. And then check the drop-down box, the ID 333 should be gone. Yeah,
Cool.
okay, works. You probably have the same problem that you did, that you have a 7-week direct somewhere. Logging. Problem with different code. You don't have the extra. We did that. This, yeah, the early races here and there can do. It doesn't seem like that, but it's. Okay, let me scroll down to, oops, it stopped sharing automatically. I don't know why it's stopped sharing. Oh, because Tony was sharing his, right? Okay, let me scroll down here. Okay. Check the bottom part. You notice your else is not by itself, it is inside the outer if. Okay, yeah. So you have your catch closing, you have your inner if closing, you have your outer if closing, and this else should not be in the outer if. So that's why at the end of the process, it is booting you off, right? And then choose one of the IDs.
Sorry.
No, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, guys, now let's get to the delete update operation. The update operation is the most time consuming of all four of them. The reason is this, because in update combination, we need, first of all, a drop down box like in delete. But when we choose an item from the drop down box and hit OK, we want the rest of the information to be loaded in a form where so we can update it. Okay, so we need a dynamic form to be created on the fly, with pre-filled value from the database based on the selection. Then, after we make changes to that, we hit the update, which will go out, update, and come back. So it's a slightly different process. Okay, so to do the update, oh, and then one more thing. When I choose an ID to update from the drop-down box, and I click a button, okay, this is the guy I want to update. So when you do a post back, it loads the new form with the data to be updated, but it will lose your selection in the drop-down box, which ID you selected in the previous page, because every submit is a new submit. So we also have to write a code logic to bring that ID back in the top drop-down box, which was selected before. Okay, everybody follow that? So that's what we would have to do. Multiple operations. So I will save my delete.jsp as update.jsp. Some of the logic I could use, some of the logic I won't use from here. So in my update, should be update course data, and this should be update.jsp. I still have the course ID that I am working with. It's basically the same. However, there'll be some difference made inside the loop, in the result set loop. Yeah, legend I changed to update course data, correct. Okay, now before I even start with my form, remember I told you that if I already selected an ID from the drop-down box and I hit submit, I want that ID to be preserved.
Yeah.
If it is the first time only, then the drop-down box should let user choose whatever. So I will use here a test variable to request the get parameter called CID. If the test stays null, that means nobody selected an ID and you're coming. Okay. If it has a value, that means somebody selected it. So inside my if condition, inside my loop here, where I am generating my options, I will write an if condition. If the CID, which is the value that I'm reading from the result set, if that matches the CID that is held inside the test, that means somebody is submitting it. In that case, I want that particular CID to be selected. And how do you do that? You simply write selected. This is an HTML keyword, which means select this one. Otherwise, all others will be without selected. That will be the only one that will be selected. So it will automatically highlight that one.
Now.
So again,
In the else, you just put on.
yeah, I took out select because I want only that one to be selected, which matches. All others should not be selected because I can only have one selected item. So that's the only change I make in the while loop. Then instead of button saying delete course,
1 second, I'm sorry, I got kicked off of it again.
okay,
Um, Yeah, I'm good, okay.
okay. So I changed the button text also to say load course information instead of delete. Okay, now I'm coming down. So I'm looking for the course ID to match. I am establishing my session and all of that stuff, right? But now I'm not doing delete. Rather, I'm saying I want to select the course name, the credits, and the description from the table where we have the course ID matching, right? And now I will be doing my result set stuff. So let me get rid of this. Result set RST equals to stmt dot execute query SQL. How many courses can be having the same ID? And your answer will be only one, right? Only, I mean, like this will be unique. That's why the result set will only have one record only. You do not need to loop through the result set anymore. So result set dot next is enough to go and fetch that only record that you have. Okay, so what should I do when the result set fetches the record? You need to now create a form. So close the scriptlet and open a new one for the remaining code. And in between, we will be doing HTML to create
I
the form.
see. This makes so much sense now.
So result set.next puts a pointer on the only record, and now you are doing your form. Okay, so your form will be exactly the same as the form that you did before in the insert command, right? So let's grab that so that we don't have to recreate the wheel, reinvent the wheel. So let's go to insert.jsp. And I want you to copy this whole thing, the form, the entire form. Copy this whole form. And paste it here. And the action will be update to.jsp, which we still need to code. That is the page that will update for us. And we'll come back to this page. So we'll not have two pulse backs. It'll be confusing. Yeah, so this one is update, so that'll be update to.jsp. Okay, now we need to fix the form. Why do we need to fix the form? Because right now the form is static and blank. What we want is the form to show the values that I'm fetching from the database, right? Okay, and since I already have the course ID selected, I do not need to show the user the course ID because nobody's updating the course ID. You're only updating the course name, the credits, and the description, right? Okay, now this is how you can bring in the value from the database. You're going to write value. In fact, you know what? Let me break it down on a new line because it's a little bit of a longer code. Value. Value is what shows inside the text box. Value. And I can use JSP expressions. And I can ask my result set object to grab the first column. The first column in my SQL is course name. And I will repeat the same for credits and description. Now comes another issue. If I send in the course name and credits and description to another page called update2.jsp, how will update2.jsp know which course ID am I updating? Because I'm not even passing that. And I will not pass the course ID visible to the user because then user will think, oh, I can also update that. And it will also be redundant because the user can already see the drop-down box at the top, right? Where the course ID is listed. So there's no point of having the course ID listed twice. So to solve this whole problem, we will use HTML hidden tags. Okay, so you can have a hidden form element. Input type equals to hidden. So nobody can see it. The server will receive it. The name of this will be CID, and the value that it will hold will be the value that is held inside CID. The variable CID. So the variable CID, I'm talking about this guy, this CID. That's what I'm passing in the hidden field.
I'm gonna look for it real quick. I might have done something wrong because my entire chunk of code is now airing out underneath legend. Oh wait, I got something wrong with.
Oh, you probably might have messed up on here. Did you put a close? Yeah, check.
Oh, okay, I see. I have to close the caret for the snippet and the HTML. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, cool.
What I keep asking you, what are they called? The little Java JSP brackets, not snippets.
Now, these are expressions,
No, the
and
percent caret.
these are scriptlets.
Scriptlets, not snippets. Scriptlet.
Scriptlets.
Scriptlet.
It's just like piglets, right?
Yes, very
It's a
true.
code snippet. So it's a snippet of a script. So that's where yeah. Small script, small piggy. Okay. So we still need to code update 2.jsp, which will be our next page. And update 2.jsp, let me see what I want to model after. Go to insert.jsp and save it as update 2.jsp. Insert.jsp, save it as update 2.jsp. Update 2 is just a temporary page that you will visit and come back. So there's no need to have a style. There is no need to have a navigation. So no navigation, no style. And there's no need to have a form. So this closing scriptlet all the way till the opening scriptlet after the form, this whole thing will be gone. See that, everybody? Okay. Now, CID, CNAME, credits, and description. Those are the 4 values that I'm passing. So they'll be coming over here. I'm checking to make sure that none of them are null. I'm loading my drivers and everything. The only difference is that the SQL command will be different. That's it. And it'll say update course project 22B set course name to this value. credits to this value. And description to this value. Where course ID equals to this value. And when you are done running the SQL statement, redirect back to the update page.
What did we delete from this file?
Right at the top, we deleted the form and the opening and the closing scriptlet and the opening scriptlets. That's what we deleted from the top, and that's about it. And then we made some changes all the way through.
And the reason we don't, credits is a integer or numeric type number, so we don't need the single quotes, correct?
Exactly.
I'm proud of myself. I'm getting the comma jumbled down.
You're getting what?
The comma jumbled down.
Oh,
The comma and apostrophe jumble that this is.
check again that you have a single quote starting here, single
Yeah.
quotes closing, comma, nothing, comma, description equals to single quotes, where course ID, single quotes.
Oh, I missed one. Thank you.
Yeah, and I replaced it out.println with response.send redirect. I'll be right back from the rest of you guys. Okay, anybody have theirs? You still have errors? You fine? Okay. Tony, how about you?
Wash my hands 1 second.
Oh, sure. Devin, were you able to figure out the code that needs to be removed?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool.
I believe I'm good.
Okay. So now let's test this. Let's go back to the home page and let's hit the update button, update link. Oh, it probably timed out, so I'll log in again. So update. And here I'll say, okay, load me course information number 2. There we go. I will update the physics credits to 4. And intro to physics, I'll change to physics 101. And I'll just click update course information. And here I have an error. Okay. So let me go and fix update 2. It is complaining about CID. I have a CID, okay. And did I uppercase it for any reason? Why is it saying CID variable not found? Oh, in my okay, it's course ID, my field name. I wrote for in my where clause. It should be course ID. That's the name of the field in the database. Is smart enough to uppercase if it's a field name, and that's how I was able to catch it. Okay, let me first fix this one. So I'll refresh mine. Okay, and now let me make sure by going to my course number 2 that physics is 4 credits. So it's fixed for me. Okay, let me look at yours. Oh, filter credit in your fielding credits is not valid. Probably has to be something that's update the course, set the course date, oh, this is everybody got it?
Yeah, I just have to gotta remember where we had to put the redirect. And that was after.
Oh, I'll show you. That is right after we execute the update.
And that's in the first update, or that's in the second update form?
Yeah, because we are sending the second update back to the first update. The second update job is only to process the form and go back. So basically, that's what you have to do for your project. So I think, I mean, it panned out well for us to build the whole thing together and then giving you something very similar to do based on your idea.
Yeah, thank you for walking us through all that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was very
No
beneficial.
problem. Because I noticed, Sarah, a few years ago that I used to do individual, like I would do a different program for update and different for insert and different for select. And students, when they sit to put it all together, they were having difficulty. So I thought, let me do an example similar to the project and that you have actually gone through the process once. Now you're just replicating it based on your, so I think it worked out better.
Cars, if we want to put HTML on everything.
Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, like, what do you mean?
Like, protect the homepage, don't protect-
Yeah, my homepage was very, very basic.
Yeah.
So you will just put some content on it, whatever. And the other pages too, you can, I mean, I created something that has a very simple look and feel. But then you will add some CSS and blah, 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 all of that stuff to enhance the look and feel based on your content. Yeah. So yeah, that will be your final project, and we don't have a final exam in this class, so that's the only deliverable for this course. If you are caught up with your assignments. And
What did you change when you got that error for the course ID?
oh, yeah, I basically had CID written over here instead of the field name, so I changed that to a course ID. I had CID over here.
Okay.
Like logging on to the AS100 that we have to have that identity.
Yeah. You need to create your own table.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the rest of the process has to be exactly the same because your table is also on the same DB2 server, right? Okay. Then I will see you guys next week, Friday. And Jessica, we are all set for 4 o'clock, right?
Yep.
For the
Yep.
WMCP? Mhm.
Yeah, if anyone wants to come as well, I shared the Zoom link in the Discord. But tonight, yeah, at 4 o'clock through Zoom, we're doing a WMCPA meeting, and we've got a guest speaker, so feel free to swing by.
Yep. And you have her bio and everything? Like,
I don't, but I can grab that from Alan real quick.
okay, yeah, because you'll be introducing her, right?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, just wanted to, yeah. That's fine. So, yep, I'll see you or whoever can join at 4 and, yep. See you guys next week then. Take care. Bye.
Have a good one.
See ya, thank you.
Recording. We'll review that.
Yeah, I will.
I know the recording before break on 18.
Oh, yeah, you know what happened with that recording?